Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online, an association round for round boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. Check them out, www.roundforroundboxing.com. Don't forget, Andrew Ruiz is part of the Round for Round boxing roster. Okay. What do we have here? The WBC and the WBA are more interested in seeing Andrew Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder than Andrew Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua 2. Why am I not surprised? In my message to Al Heyman PBC, pleading for Wilder versus Ruiz to get us finally an undisputed champion, a lot of you didn't see the point of my video, and some of you thumbed down the video. And that was an indication to me that you didn't agree with what I was saying with regards to Ruiz versus Wilder. Haven't make enough money, blah, 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 blah. Joshua's got a contract to honor, blah, 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 blah. Well, hey, let me tell you something. Wasn't Dillian Whyte mandatory challenger for the WBC? Number one contender? How did Dominic Breazeale end up being fighting Wilder when there was a mandatory, White was a mandatory. Didn't he have two final eliminators? Wasn't he WBC silver title champion? This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. You see, what you've got to also understand, yes, Prince, how we doing? What you all got to understand is that, or what I've come to understanding is that Wilder versus Joshua, they talked about potentially being $100 million fight. All right, $100 million fight, which means the sanctioning bodies would have got a good piece of that money. All right, that fight hasn't got the value now because of some mismanagement and basically BS from one party. I believe. I don't believe it's from Wilder's side. I truly believe it's from Matchroom's side, and for that reason, if you look at who Deontay Wilder's been fighting, he's prepared to fight Luis Ortiz. He fought Tyson Fury. And on the other hand, you've got Joshua, who's making a defense against Andrew Ruiz, who he felt was a soft touch. An old Povetkin, Molina, Dominic Breazeale. And, well, anyway. So you can see who wanted to fight, who wants to fight the best fighters in the world. Okay, and we now know that Joshua's become unstuck. And I said that would probably be the best thing for the heavyweight division at this point in time, because we'll probably now get a better chance of getting an undisputed champion. You see, things get even worse because if you think about it, WBC haven't given Dillian Whyte his opportunity. Yes, Eve, how are we doing, sister? The WBC haven't given Dillian Whyte the opportunity to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder went and fought Dominic Breazeale. And the performance by Deontay Wilder has sent shockwaves around the world. If you didn't want to acknowledge Deontay Wilder, you damn well have to acknowledge him now. That punching power. And if you didn't want to acknowledge Anthony Joshua for his deficiencies, you know about it now. And with Tyson Fury now joining Top Rank, his profile has grown exponentially because of him being on Top Rank. I've got some feedback from Americans who are not impressed with Tyson Fury. Some of them have come back and said to me, "Well, we don't buy it. We Bob Aaron's trying to sell Tyson Fury like the next Muhammad Ali." So some people are taking offense to that. Others are taking offense in America by saying, "Yeah, Fury's got some movement and stuff, but they're trying to sell him like the next White Hope." So there's those comments coming out as well. The thing is, Fury's what I will back Fury in the sense that we need personalities in heavyweight boxing, and Wilder will need a challenge because after what's happened with Joshua, the guy that everyone's going to be pushing for is for Fury Wilder too. But listen to this: if the WBC and the WBA want to unify, what does Tyson bring to the table apart from a linear heavyweight championship with defenses against Tom Schwartz, I can't remember, Silly Sam, and Safa Safridi, and what's the other guy? Ancient, what's his name? What's the guy's name again? Oh, see, I don't even care from the guy. I can't remember the guy again that he last fought. The guy that Klitschko knocked out, the Italian. Oh, I can't remember the name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, Wilder, Ruiz have both come off devastating knockouts. Wilder's knockout win over Brazil and Ruiz's knockout win over Joshua. The time is now. Pianetta, thank you very much. That's how much I care. The time is now for an undisputed heavyweight champion. Wilder versus Ruiz for their undisputed heavyweight championship of the world before there's any more clowns holding on to the title. It's important. Why do you want to wait for the possibility of Joshua to possibly win the world title back, to have more messing around for the world title? They messed up big time. They've cost world boxing a lot of money, and they are responsible, point blank responsible. And let's be honest, just look at their track record over the last year with their own home fighters. Why do you want to do business with them? So we've seen it being done. Frank with Top Rank and Fury made the Wilder fight. We saw it could happen. Simple. We saw how it could be done. And the fact that Heyman's got Ruiz and Wilder, that's a fight that can be done pretty quickly. Now, for me, I would like to see Luis Ortiz get an injury. I really would. I would like Luis Ortiz to get an injury, break a hand, twist an arm. I don't know. Just get injured and get the hell out of the way. We don't need to see Ruiz versus Wilder 2. We really don't. Just those people out there that say, well, you know, Wilder could have got knocked out in that round. Just as much as Joshua should have, you know, Joshua stopping Takam in that fight that nobody talks about. Or maybe the fact he was on the canvas and that Vladimir Klitschko should have finished him off. It's as much as that. Doesn't mean anything. What I would like to see is Ortiz pushed to one side and the fight in September to be Wilder versus Ruiz for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Let's make this happen. And then anybody else can come afterwards. Fury can come afterwards. Joshua can come. Line them up afterwards. But let's get the undisputed title fight in Mexico. It's not in Mexico on Mexico Day, Independence. Let's do it then. Cinco de Mayo for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Let's make it happen. Al Heyman, you're the man that can make it happen. The WBC and you seem to have a fairly decent relationship. Let's make it happen. WBC, WBA, IBF, IBO. Heavyweight championship of the world. Cinco de Mayo, September. Make it happen. Make it happen. And then Joshua can come back and, if he wants to fight in November or December, whoever cares about Joshua then, because he's old news. This needs to happen. And the authorities, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, the IBO, they're all going to be getting a nice chunk of that money. Right? And they won't forgive Hearn for what happened with Joshua and Wilder. No, they won't. They won't. Because that's serious money. These governing bodies, they want their money. That's how they make their money. So the fact that they could have been making a considerable amount of money out of this fight, you know, is something. And they've lost out on that. Now, is Ruiz versus Wilder $100 million fight? I don't know. I don't know. But it's certainly a fight now that when I spoke about it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago when I spoke about it, people were like, nah, maybe, you know, Joshua and Joshua's immediate rematch. You see, it's all gone quiet now. Yeah, Joshua's got an immediate rematch. See, it's all gone quiet now. It's all tailored off now. And how people are now talking about Joshua versus Wilder versus Ruiz. See how it's all changing. See, people are fickle like that. I could see this was a great business angle and a great opportunity to make the undisputed title. For me, I want to see an undisputed champion. I want to see that. And that also puts an end to that linear championship that Tyson Fury is making a mockery of at the moment. It's a mockery, right? Nothing to do with Tyson personally, but the belt itself, the linear heavyweight championship, when you go back in history and look at the great linear champions that have gone past, and then you look at the defenses that Tyson's making, it's a bit of a mockery. So I think for me and for boxing connoisseurs and for those who love the history of the sport, I mean, look, if the women can have undisputed champions, then why can't the men have undisputed champions? We had Usyk, cruiserweight undisputed champion. But yeah, it's great. He's got it. But nobody cares for the undisputed champion as much as the heavyweight undisputed champion. The heavyweight undisputed champion. The welterweight undisputed champion. The middleweight undisputed champion. They're the three ones, right? The middleweight, the welterweight, and the heavyweight. Cruiserweight, cruiserweight, good. Obviously, Holyfield, undisputed cruiserweight champion, went on to become heavyweight champion of the world. Something very special there. But really, the heavyweight champion of the world, the middleweight champion of the world, and the welterweight champion of the world, all three is undisputed. We all want to see Crawford versus Spence. Why is that? Why is that? To have the undisputed title. And if the WBA and the WBC are talking, and the fact of the matter that WBA's come out and called Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn. Again, Eddie Hearn, when will this man stop talking? And, the WBA have come out and said this circus act. I mean, Mauricio Suleiman, lovely guy. I've met him before. Lovely guy. And I don't think he's interested in what Hearn's got to say. I think he's interested in making money and where the most amount of money is going to happen. And there's no excuses why Joshua and Wilder couldn't have happened whatsoever. They could have made that fight. But you blame Barry Hearn because he didn't want to fight till 2021. Because let's remember what he said. And what he says goes. What he said was, it's about what makes boxing business. Not what the fans want, but boxing business. And with a mentality like that, you're never going to get the super fights because they're going to be ducking and diving and trying to maneuver their guy away from Deontay Wilder or any big fights. So those are my thoughts there. What do you think? Should we have an undisputed champion? Is it time for an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? And how does that change the landscape of the heavyweight division? Should we have an undisputed champion? For me, I think it has to happen. It has to happen. It has to happen. One face, one name, one champion. If they were to fight now, for me, the momentum is with Wilder because Wilder is already a champion and he's had several defenses of the title. He's not being celebrated at the moment in that sense. He has worked hard to be champion, whereas Andy Ruiz has become champion and currently at this time is being celebrated. He has reached his dream to become champion. There are people who are good underdogs and become champion, but there are some people that once they become champion, let it all go. Buster Douglas, that one night in Tokyo, he was motivated for Mike Tyson. But then after that, Holyfield got a hold of him, and Buster Douglas was tremendously out of shape. One uppercut, Buster Douglas throws a straight right hand down the pipe, and we all know Evander Holyfield, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. One face, one name, one champion. I see, for me already, how the fight will go. Wilder will keep Ruiz at the end of the jab, and as soon as Ruiz decides to step in, the right hand. But Ruiz has got the head movement that Joshua doesn't have, and he will use that head movement. But Wilder is extremely fast. I think it's an exciting fight for as long as it lasts. But it's time for Wilder to unify. Somebody says, come here. Wilder never unified. Well, technically, if you'd fought, when he fought Fury, he was fighting the linear championship of the world against the actual WBC champion of the world. So technically, that would have been a unification bout. Technically, if you're going to call the unified or the linear championship belt, technically. But it doesn't matter about what you say. It matters about what the WBC and the WBA say. It matters about what they say. And I am praying and I am asking and I'm on my hands and knees. Mr. Heyman, please make this fight happen. Mr. Ortiz, take the money and go back to Cuba. Take the money and run. Literally, injure yourself, get paid a nice bit of money, nice 5-8 million. Go away. Don't get yourself injured by Wilder. Go away. Go away. Drop out of the race and let Ruiz and Wilder handle their business in September. Please. Please. We don't need to see Wilder versus Ruiz 2. Ortiz 2. We don't need to see it. We don't need to see it. And then, because Fury's got no intention of fighting Wilder till next year, well, according to Bob Arum and himself. But I bet you that all changes if they hear murmurings that Heyman's trying to make Wilder versus Ruiz. Oh, that'll suddenly change then. Because, the landscape changes then. Wilder Ruiz, well, I want to get into, I need to get out of that. So I'd like to see Wilder and Ruiz. No more clowning around, no more joking around, no more joke defenses against people you don't know and don't care about. Let's make it happen. Wilder Ruiz. If you're a boxing fan, that's what you should be looking for now. Nothing else acceptable. No Wilder versus old ancient Ortiz. No Ruiz versus the guy you already beat up in Anthony Joshua. No, let's see the two guys. The two bad men, let's see them fight. Because people thought Joshua was a bad man and Ruiz destroyed him. We saw Wilder fight Fury and Fury got dropped twice. So let's see these two men fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And if Fury wants it next year, he can get it next year as he believes he wants to have it. So, it'll be interesting though, because when I look at Fury, he could have been fighting Oscar Rivas. He chose to fight Tom Schwartz. So there you have it. And you look at Oscar Rivas and you look at Andy Ruiz. They're both type of guys who've got fast hands that can punch with both hands, both swarmers. Fury didn't fancy that kind of heat, and he went for a Tom Schwartz entry, ranked 52 in the heavyweights. But there we go. That's neither here nor there. Again, congratulations on Fury dispatching of Tom Schwartz in the way he should have done. But I don't want to see any more of them kind of fights. I'm bored of that. If I'm going to pay for a pay-per-view, let's make it pay-per-view worthy. Ruiz, Wilder, undisputed. Over to you.